Joe Hopkins here, and I decided to look up something here. I saw they were talking about famous musicians from different states, and I decided to look up famous musicians from my home states. Yes, plural. I have two home states, mostly because I have, spent my entire life shuffling back and forth between two different states. I'm going to have a beer while we talk about this. And I'm sure a lot of other people out there have had similar experiences where they spend all of their time between two places, right? I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, so I looked up famous musicians from Maryland, and I spent my childhood there back and forth between our house in Baltimore and my grandparents' house in Morgan County, West Virginia. Only about 2 hours away from Baltimore. It's not that far from Maryland. When I was a teenager, we moved close to my grandfather, Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. And I've spent my teenage years and entire adult life living in West Virginia, just across from Maryland, and still spent a lot of time in Maryland. In fact, I've been a Maryland state employee for 25 years. I probably spend as much time in Maryland as I do in West Virginia, since I live in one state and work in the other, Oddly enough, well, not oddly enough, but even though I live in West Virginia, the politics of Maryland affect me more because I work for the state government. So I'm more concerned about who the governor is that pays me than who the governor is that taxes me. Kind of an odd thing. But anyway, I looked up both famous musicians from Maryland and famous musicians from West Virginia. No surprise, the list of famous musicians from West Virginia has fewer big names on it. And since a lot of these, a certain number of, I won't mention the ones that people wouldn't recognize, but I looked it up out of curiosity, and I thought I'd go through the list with you guys, see what you all think, right? Maybe encourage you to look up who's from your state. Some of these I knew, obviously. Brad Paisley is apparently from West Virginia. Glendale, West Virginia. I don't know where that is. I didn't know he was from West Virginia. I think probably because I don't know anything about Glendale, West Virginia. I haven't been around all of West Virginia that much. I have here and there. I've been all over West Virginia, and I don't know it as well as I do Maryland for whatever reason. But yeah, Brad Paisley, West Virginian. He's one of ours. All right, Bill Withers. I did not know he was from West Virginia. If you don't know who he is, let's see. If you know the old rock and roll songs, he's an older guy. He wrote Ain't No Sunshine, Lean on Me, Just the Two of Us. We all know that song, Just the Two of Us. That's Bill Withers. And I did not know he's from Slab Fork, West Virginia. Slab Fork sounds like a town that would be in West Virginia. Very obviously, right? Slab Fork, man. This is one I did know. If any of y'all like country, swing music, then you know the band Asleep at the Wheel, right? And you might think Texas, right? Asleep at the Wheel. Wouldn't they be from Texas? That's where they're based out of now. Where does it say they're based out of now? Austin. At the moment, they're based out of Austin, Texas. But they were founded in the town of Paw Paw, West Virginia. Paw Paw. And I'm very well acquainted with Paw Paw, West Virginia. I went to high school and lived for about 15, 16 years in Berkeley Springs, which is on one side of Morgan County, and Paw Paw is at the other side of Morgan County. In fact, I drive through Paw Paw every time I go back to Berkeley Springs, because from where I live now in Ridgely to Berkeley Springs, if you take the back way, you go right through Paw Paw. And so, I mean, they're homeboys. Asleep at the Wheel, right? Pretty cool band if anybody knows them. They are rather famous. I don't know how many people know about them. Let's see. I'm looking to see if any other big names pop up. Michael W. Smith. Why does that sound familiar? Michael W. Smith, Christian Contemporary. Oh, that's where I've heard him on K-Love. Okay. And apparently he is from Canova, West Virginia. There we go. I knew I recognized the name. I like listening to the Christian Contemporary music a lot of times. K-Love, the radio station, it's very up. You know what I mean? If you need to pick me up, very encouraging stuff. I like it. Who else is from West Virginia? Oh, man. I see a whole bunch of names here, but nobody I think anybody would recognize. Steve Whiteman. Him, I knew he was from West Virginia. He's the singer for the band Kix, which also is a Maryland band. They got their start in Western Maryland and really made it big in Baltimore. But Steve Whiteman, the singer, is from Piedmont, West Virginia. Yes, and that's not very far from where I currently live. In fact, I've known a lot of Whitemans over the years, and some of the younger ones don't know they're related to the singer from Kix. He has relatives that haven't even heard of the band Kix. You say, oh, are you related to Steve Whiteman from Kix? And they're like, who's that? Who's Kix? Right? I don't know. The younger crowd doesn't even know who the hell he is. But if anybody knows Kix, they were really big in the 80s. Yeah, I know a pile of Whitemans. They're all related. They say they're not, but they are, right? My wife worked at the Christian school up the street with Steve Whiteman's cousin. So, yeah, he's one I know. He's from West Virginia. He's from Piedmont, West Virginia. Who else is from... I don't see anybody else that anybody would even care about, right? They got some names of people that won awards or are respected and whatever, but the Baltimore list or the Maryland list, rather more interesting. Right off the bat, obviously, Tony Braxton, born in Severn, Maryland, literally down the street from where my wife grew up. Yeah, Tony Braxton. She started out with her sisters in an R&B group called The Braxtons, obviously, in the Baltimore area. So, you know, she is from Severn, Maryland. Let's see here. Frank Zappa. And that does not surprise me. Baltimore. He's from Baltimore. He seems like a Baltimore kind of guy. Baltimore's a weird town, if anybody didn't know. Strange place. Billie Holiday. I did know that. Billie Holiday is from Baltimore, Maryland. Yes, the town I was born in. And who else we got? Cisco. Well, yeah, Baltimore, Maryland. Wasn't he with, let's see. Yeah, he was with Drew Hill. I know Drew Hill. They're from the Druid Hill Park area. Obviously. People wonder why they called Drew Hill. Because they're from Druid Hill Park. Druid Hill. It's in Baltimore. That's why they called it that. So yeah, who else we got? Tori Amos, who was born in North Carolina but grew up in Baltimore. She is another Baltimore native. And awesome musician. I love Tori Amos. Everybody in the Baltimore area when I was growing up, everybody around there knew who the hell Tori Amos was because she's one of ours, right? You got all these famous people from New York and California and shit like that. You know, when you get one from your hometown, everybody knows who the hell they are, right? Baltimore's got a good list though. They really do. Who else we got on the Baltimore list? Oh, the band Good Charlotte. Maryland, let's see. Originally from Waldorf, Maryland. I always wondered Waldorf. Who the hell would name a town Waldorf? But yeah, Good Charlotte. They're a pretty good band. Rick Ocasek from the Cars. This surprised me. I did not know he's from Baltimore. Yeah. And let's see. Oh, yeah. I thought it was going to say some other people in the band were. No, the Cars. Rick Ocasek. He's from Baltimore. This is one I'd heard before. Cab Calloway, Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah. My grandpa used to go see him play in the clubs when he was a young man around the Baltimore area. Yeah. You know, because my grandpa, he was from East Baltimore, and he'd get to see Cab Calloway playing in the clubs when Cab Calloway was getting started out. Nils Lofgren, right? Yeah, Bruce Springsteen in the E Street Band. He's a member of the E Street Band and Crazy Horse. And he is from Bethesda, Maryland. That's kind of DC, really. If you know the Maryland area, Bethesda is the Maryland side, you know? But let's see here. Who else is from my home area? It's an interesting list. Yeah, it mentions Drew Hill, the R&B group, which I already said. I know Drew Hill. They're from Druid Hill in Baltimore. And of course, it mentions the Braxtons. There's a whole bunch of Braxtons on here. All of the Braxton girls ended up, or at least half of them, ended up with some kind of career in music to some degree or another, and they're from Anne Arundel County in Maryland, you know, Severn, Maryland. Yeah, so that's a nice area. If anybody knows Maryland, Severn, Severna Park, that whole area, that's nice area. So there we go. And some of those I knew and some of them I didn't. Those are the famous musicians that are from the same place as me. A lot of them from Baltimore, where I was born. And that's kind of interesting. It's an interesting little experiment. Look up and see who is from where you're from, right? I think in a minute here, I might look up and see what other famous people are from where I'm from. Yeah, if I'm looking down, because I got my laptop down here. They've got other lists on here. Yeah, famous people from Maryland. Who are the historical figures from Maryland? It's an interesting list. Harriet Tubman, Thurgood Marshall, Francis Scott Key, Frederick Douglass. That's Nancy Pelosi. I did not know that. Nancy Pelosi's from Baltimore. Look at that. Jada Pinkett Smith is from Baltimore. No shit. Isn't that interesting? They've got, yeah, Baltimore's got a lot of famous people from it. West Virginia, the list was way shorter, right? But yeah, it's an interesting thing to look up who's from where I'm from. And that's kind of the point of doing this, is to encourage you guys. It's interesting. Learn a little bit about your home area and find out who is from the same place you are. And yeah, I'm going to finish this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Love y'all. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.